Okay, I've got to read this title out to get it right. The Osen newbie adventurer trained to death by the most powerful party became invincible. I just love anime. That's one of the reasons. The titles are just so, I don't know, fun and on the nose. But don't let that title trick you into thinking that it's some just goofy nonsense show, anime. It isn't. It's a good story. And it really touched me. I've seen it twice. I'll probably see it again. You see, in this story, he's in this world where you can become an adventurer. And you will awaken some kind of power inside of you which allows you to become an adventurer. And there's nuance to this, but basically that's it. And he's always wanted to be an adventurer since he was just a little kid. And he was waiting for this great power to awaken within him that would allow him to follow his dreams. And it never awakened. No matter how long he waited, no matter how hard he worked, no matter what he did, it never awakened. And so he ended up taking this job on the side just to wait for this power to wake up in him. And so he took this side job, and it was just a job just to wait and wait. And he waited and he waited and he waited. Now the story goes that you've got to start training on your power, on your magic, on your mana, on your ability before the age of 20. And if you don't do it before the age of 20, it is too late and it cannot be developed, which means you cannot become an adventurer. The thing he has dreamed about since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. And so he waits. And all of a sudden he's, 7 years old and 10 years old and 12, 14 years old, 20 years old. Takes on actually he would have taken on the job as the side job, which was working at the guild paperwork, when he was 16. And he just kept waiting and waiting for this ability to wake up inside of him. And it never did. And all of a sudden, he's 30 years old. 30. And Buddy, he's getting so frustrated and depressed and angry because everybody else gets to do it. His friend, gets to do it that he's watched, year after year, and his friend never rubs it in. Like his friend's never mean to him, but he watches his friend just advance and advance and advance and get to live out his dream. And here he is shuffling paperwork right adjacent to the dream of becoming an adventurer. Right adjacent, he's like watching all these adventurers get to do what he wants to do, but he can't. And one night, as I'm trying to remember the story because I want to say it properly, he was people have been kind of like just nice to him and just saying, how people are when they don't really think that you're going to be able to do it, but maybe some people do say it kind of honestly, but you don't really take what they're saying seriously because you don't really respect their opinion. It goes against your dreams. But one night there is this beautiful, beautiful elf, and he's just like, man, he's taken with her, and he ends up trying to rescue her, and in the process, it doesn't quite go the way he wants it, but he asks her out on a date, and he's on cloud nine, right? This beautiful girl, and he's on cloud nine, and he tried to rescue her, but it didn't quite work out. But he hasn't lost his dream. He's still living for it and waiting for it, though he is frustrated. Wouldn't you know it, he goes to meet her on this date, and it ends up that there's a whole bunch of monsters there, and he finds out that she is an S-class adventurer. Like top of the class. Just the top of the, what do you mean top of the class? Top of the guild, and just absolutely a beast, and has all the ability. And he ends up in a situation where she's got to tell him, there's no hope for you. You can't be an adventurer. It's too late for you. You're too old. And then all of a sudden a situation happens where he ends up rescuing her, even though she's this S class and he's a nothing class. I think he's like F, or just nothing. He ends up rescuing her, and she sees for a moment his actual potential. He never saw his potential. He never saw it. He just only believed that if he could just achieve this thing, then he'd get to do his dream. But she got to see his actual potential and actually decides to help him train to become an adventurer. But he has this absolute 100% weakness. He has no mana. He has no magic ability. All he can do, he had barely any magical ability. He's like a level 1, and he can barely do anything, and he trains to death. And these people, this S-class party, believe in him. Like, they absolutely believe in him that he can do it. And they train him to death. Like, he doesn't have like any ability. And so he trains to overcome the inability that he has. And it just touches me like crazy. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. I'm not doing it justice. But I think about us who feel like we've gone past our prime, past the opportunity, past the time to be able to just to start the journey of achieving our dreams, whatever they may be. And all of a sudden, you're way past. He was supposed to start when he was 20 for this training to become an adventurer, and now he's 30. He's way too old. But because that party believed in him, he ended up becoming, I wanted to say, one of the very best in the country. And he ended up being able to stand with his teachers, with his main teacher, as an equal. He joined them as an inferior, and having no ability and having no hope to actually getting to a place where he could stand as their equal. And what's wild is that during the entire journey, he always felt that he was inferior. How often have you felt inferior as you stood, before somebody who was really accomplished? Whatever it is. I know myself, like, I teach driving for a living, and I would stand in the home, and the home is worth like $8 million, and beautiful floors, and I feel awkward standing in that home because a man who is younger than me has been able to achieve 100 times more than I, and I don't feel worthy in that place. And that's how he felt. He didn't feel worthy. He felt worthless. He felt like he was nobody, and he was terrified of the tests that he had to go through, that all the kids have to go through. And he's like, I'm going to fail. It's amazing how much we are capable of when somebody believes in us, and it begins there. Maybe it's here on YouTube. Here you're watching this video right now, right? I'm some stranger on the screen. You've never met me. I've never met you. Probably never will. I do believe in you. Oh, I know that sounds cheesy. I get it. I get it. It sounds so cheesy, maybe cliche, but you're not done. And that cartoon tells a true story. It's a true principle. It's a true idea. You're not done. Sure, you're going to have to work harder than the teenagers, than the young children. Yes, you're going to have to work harder, and you're going to have to find another way to get to where you're trying to go. But it does not mean that you're done. It does not mean that you're over. And I believe in the power of belief. Yes, the belief in God, the belief in Jesus. Amen. Amen. But I also believe in you. And I'm nervous about how this will sound. It's cliche because it gets said so often. It gets said a lot. And it can sound cheesy because it's like you're talking to a kid, right? You say that to a kid. But why do we say that to the child? Because it's true. I believe in your ability to accomplish great in this world, to accomplish good in this world, to accomplish something of true value in this world. I believe in you. Well, then you're no different. We are no different. We have to be believed in. And those teachers, I'm like those teachers that taught Osan, the 30-year-old, to become an adventurer. They believed in him because they saw his potential. And the truth is, we all still have immense potential, because that's the other thing that the story reveals, is that it's not just that he has potential, he has ridiculous potential, way above what other people believe that he could do, because everywhere he turns, aside from his teammates, aside from his party, everybody reinforces that he's old, he's past his prime, he's not capable, he can't do it. At least in the first few episodes, like you're not capable, you're nobody, you're no good. And even there's a professor in that situation, in that school where he goes to get tested, that thinks he's nothing. And he says so with glee, with power, with passion. He loves saying it, this professor, to this 30-year-old. You're you're not capable. You can't do it. And so the belief that he has about himself is reinforced by all the people around him, the gifted kids and the regular people. They're all are muttering behind his back, oh, he's that old man over there. And it reinforces his belief that he has about himself. Man, if there's one thing that we have got to watch, it's what we got to pay attention to and start to curate and be careful of, is the influences that we allow to speak into our lives. To speak into our lives, a truth that gets spoken to us, because a lot of it's partial truth. Yeah, okay. Okay, it would have been better. I would have gotten started when I was 17. Okay. But that does not mean that it's not good to start now and to chase those dreams and to chase what it is you want to accomplish. There's more. You see, he was able to accomplish a tremendous amount when his teachers believed in him. And they went out of the way to really prove to him that he had ability, though he had to work harder than everybody else. And they put him through it. But it was incredible what he was able to accomplish when he believed in himself. And again, I hear the cliche, but freak, who cares? When we believe in ourselves, it's amazing what we are actually capable of. When he didn't believe in himself, He was afraid to try. He was afraid to enter. He was afraid to just give it his all, to, you know what, to push beyond what he believed were his limits. He was afraid to, and he didn't want to. And if he had been left to sit in his fear, to sit into his unbelief, Jesus, please help me in my unbelief. If he was allowed to sit in his unbelief, he never would have accomplished the greatest feat he could have ever accomplished. Oh, you've got to see the movie. I mean, not the movie, the anime. Boss, you've got to believe in you. What that means, this is what I believe. Believing in yourself means you do have ability. You do have potential. You can do it. Whether you got to try harder than everybody else, doesn't matter. You can do it. You do have the ability. And when you fail, be honest about it. Be real about it. But then don't treat that like it's some kind of ultimate barrier. Stand up and try again. And it is true that if we try again, success is what we will eventually find. I saw this played out in front of me over and over again when I taught adults, yes, teenagers, but adults in my car how to drive. Adults who had not learned how to drive for years, put it all off, had trauma around it, had shame and embarrassment. They kept on trying and they kept on trying, and they had to work harder because of all the beliefs they had inside their head that had to be undone, that had to be filtered through to get to that place where they can gain skill. They had to work harder. But when they didn't quit and when they believed in themselves and believed that they could do it, despite how they felt, it was a conscious choice to believe, they succeeded and they would pass the road test with flying colors over and over again. I remember this one lady, she was 36 years old. She had ADHD. She was very not accomplished in life. And this getting her driver's license was like a sign for her. It was like, if I can do this, I could do anything. If I could just get this. And she had to take something like 45 classes with me, along with practicing by herself. And comparison, most students needed to see me 8 times. It was not uncommon for a student to need to see me less than 8 times to become good at driving. They could just do it. Not her. But she didn't quit. She didn't give up. She gave it her all. And when she finally took that road test, she passed with flying colors. And this guy, like when he believed in himself, when he finally took it upon him, not took it upon himself, but like adopted the idea that I really can do it. My teachers believe I can do it, and it's true that I have capability in all the other areas. I may not have the ability in this one place that makes everything easier, but I have ability in everything else that makes it possible. He stood with his teachers as an equal. Boss, you got to believe in you. Yeah. I believe in you, right? Because I believe in like a universal truth. I believe in a universal truth about people, which is how I'm able to accurately say that I believe in you and that you're capable. But at the end of the day, who cares what I believe? Do you believe, boss? Before you go to bed tonight, before the day ends tomorrow, or I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but I assume it's going to be more in the evening. Find what you can believe in you about. Choose to find your abilities. What are they? Like, really, what are they? And then believe in them. Believe in you that you really can rise above, overcome, survive, and thrive. Choose to believe that so that you can then put in the work and the effort and the training to achieve the goal. I want to say trophy, but the goal. So you can look back on your life. You can look back and you can go, I didn't quit. I didn't quit. I gave it 1,000%, and everything's left on the field, and I have nothing to be ashamed of because I didn't give up. I didn't quit. I went all the way.